Hey buds. Umami. Both satisfying to say and to eat. Have you ever learned about umami? I personally remember some lesson when I was a kid where we had Q-tips and we poked each other's tongues and we were supposed to figure out flavors and basic tastes, but I don't really remember having a good sense of what umami was by the end of it. When I became a dietitian, I know umami was described as a richness or fullness. And of course, we learned that it was officially the fifth basic taste and that it would enhance the flavor of foods. Umami. So, what signals do our basic tastes call in? If we get something that is sweet, that typically means that it's carbohydrates or an energy source for us. If we get a salty signal, that is usually a sign of essential minerals. Now, if you get something that's sour, although I know some of us enjoy sour candies and other sour foods, it's actually a way to caution us that the food we're eating might be unripe or possibly spoiled. Again, bitterness is something that we're not so used to these days, but that is kind of a warning too. It could be something that has a toxin in it, or it might actually signify some really good medicine for us. Something that's beneficial, a compound that, it's intense, but could be good. And finally, we have umami, which signals nourishment, usually through protein source, fermentation, or a deep flavor. While reading this fascinating little book, I found myself diving deeper into the mysteries of umami. Now, umami was actually discovered in 1908 by a Japanese chemist named Kakune Ikeda, while he was extracting glutamic acid from kombu dashi, also known as a very tasty seaweed broth. Now, upon discovering its awesomeness, he named it and then figured out a process to manufacture seasonings from this delicious component. Now, you likely know this by its name MSG, which was given kind of a bad reputation for a while, but it has been discovered to be entirely safe. It is a natural extract from our foods, and it is considered widely to be one of the best Japanese inventions of all time. So, fun fact, our breast milk and the amniotic fluid found in the womb is also rich in glutamic acid. So, we are all literally born with a taste for umami. I'll have to admit that I did not realize that there are not one but 3 acids actually under the umami label. Inosinic acid was discovered in 1913 when it was isolated from bonito flakes. And then in 1957, guanylinic acid had its turn to shine when Akira Kuninaka discovered it from dried shiitake mushrooms. So even cooler is that Akira Kuninaka discovered that they worked synergistically. So the sodium glutamate and the guanylinic acids actually combined their powers to amp up the umami.
Let our powers combine. By your powers combined, I am
Captain Umami! Now we know how to pack a flavor punch. Research eventually showed that umami is in seafood, meat, vegetables, fermented foods, and more. But today we're going to focus on mushrooms because they are a well-known umami contributor and because I have a pretty big stash from last year. Drying mushrooms is a very convenient way to preserve them, but it also dials up the umami. When mushrooms lose water, their savory glutamates and flavor-enhancing compounds get concentrated. Plus, natural enzymes break down proteins, making them even more umami-packed. That's why dried mushrooms, like these shaggy parasols, are the secret ingredient for deep, savory flavor in seasonings, broths, and snacks. But if you do not have a large stash of wild mushrooms on hand, do not despair. There are other options. You can probably support some local pickers. And if not, shiitakes are actually one of the top mushrooms on the umami list, and they are usually pretty easy to buy. And hopefully, this season, you're going to start your own stash. One of the coolest things about shaggy parasols, They come with their own built-in safety feature. When you cut or bruise them, they turn a reddish brown, which is helpful for beginners looking to confirm their ID. As a 100% whole grain, popcorn is naturally high in fiber, which supports digestion, helps regulate blood sugars, and gives you a feeling of fullness. This makes it a great choice for those who are looking to maintain their weight or just looking for a steady energy source through the day. Grain is the harvested seed of grasses such as wheat, oats, rice, and corn. What makes it a whole grain, you might ask? Well, that is because it comes from the entire part of the kernel of corn, the bran, germ, and endosperm. Popcorn is not processed, but when you add heat, it just goes poof. Kind of magic, right? But even post-poof, you actually have all three parts remaining, meaning that you don't lose any of the nutritious bits that come with them. Now in refined grains, they actually take out the bran and the germ, which means that you do lose a bunch of that nutrition. And crazy enough, you may even find yourself buying them back at a price so that you can add them for more fiber to your healthy baked goods. A single serving of Air Pop popcorn, which is about 3 cups, contains around 4 grams of fiber and is low in calories, making it a much smarter alternative to processed snacks like chips or crackers. What sets popcorn apart is its versatility and nutrient content. It contains polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that help combat inflammation and support heart health. Unlike highly processed snack foods, plain popcorn is naturally low in fat and sodium. It's the toppings that make the difference. By choosing healthy seasonings like, say, umami-rich mushroom powders, herbs, or nutritional yeast, you can transform popcorn into a savory, nutrient-packed snack without the excess salt or artificial additives. Whether you're looking for a crunchy, fiber-rich snack to keep you full or a tasty way to boost your intake of whole grains, popcorn can be a great addition to a balanced diet when prepared with mindful ingredients. We'll let you in on one more secret, our favorite way to make popcorn at home, which we learned from the ever so knowledgeable Alton Brown. So in our household, that means that we start with a stovetop popcorn popper and a kitchen scale. Okay, so starting with your kitchen scale, put your popper on it and then zero it out. And we're going to add 100 grams of popcorn kernels and then 38 grams of ghee. So I make my own. It's really not hard. You just use regular butter, and I can link how to do that in the section below, or you can just buy it pre-made too. The thing about using ghee is that it has a higher smoke point, so it's less likely to burn on you, and it adds some really good flavor and texture benefits as well. So, and the nice thing about using a kitchen scale, which I know takes some getting used to, is that you have fewer dishes to clean because you can just put it right in there. All right. Now the other thing that I typically add is a bit of really finely ground salt. So somewhere between half and 1 teaspoon, and you want it fine so that it clings to your popcorn. All right, so we're gonna pop that on the stove and start popping. The first step is to use a blender to grind up your dried mushrooms. I'm using shaggy parasols, but you can use store-bought shiitakes or whatever you have available. Pro tip, give it a few minutes to settle after you finish blending, otherwise that magic dust is going to escape on you. Okay, so we're gonna start with our half cup of dried mushrooms all ground up. And then we're gonna add in a tablespoon of paprika, a tablespoon of nori. So this is stuff that I also put through the blender, and if you remember Captain Umami, this is supposed to punch up our umami for us. Also a tablespoon of garlic powder and a tablespoon of onion powder. So we use our ever so cute little spoon to mix that all up. And you get wild mushroom magic dust. They can be added to your popcorn or to anything else. While we were experimenting, we found it quite delicious on things like meat and veggies and pretty much anything. So feel free to sprinkle it wherever you want. Until next time, may your flavors be bold and your umami strong.